Welcome back to the second part of my OberKommandoWest playthrough. Yeah, I keep going to say Oberkommando Wehrmacht, which is technically right, but then OberKommandoWest isn't even an actual name of a unit. Whatevs. Yeah, anything else I can think of? I did mention the command trucks, but I didn't really elaborate on them. Basically they have three types. They have one that acts as a kind of medic station that can also become a retreat point after you spend a certain amount on upgrades for it to become that, which means you're like having a major for the US forces. This allows you, depending on where you placed it, to allow you to put forces there as a retreat point, and they'll get healed when they arrive at the location. So it's kind of a mix of the US forces major and the Russian HQ medics capability. The other building doesn't really have any unique trait to it, except it just unlocks the next tier of equipment, allowing you to bring in things like Yad Panthers and a couple of support vehicles, and the third one actually is a defensive structure that allows you to bring in units, because wherever you plant it, it has a large quick-firing cannon on the top. I'm not sure if that actually existed. I'm trying to place one now. You can see that I think it just has a 20 mil cannon on the top. But wherever you put that, it's basically like a big turret. It's good at taking out infantry, and it's good at doing massive damage to soft skin targets. So don't drive half-tracked or scout cars near it, and even light tanks will get quite a drubbing from it. Anything up to a medium tank though will have generally an easier time against this vehicle as well, against this weapon, so you haven't really got much to worry about there. But it's a useful structure in the mid to late game, just to be able to hold the location for a few seconds until you can get units over. Yeah, unlike the British in the original game, they can't uproot, so if your vehicle or your structure, with quotation marks, does come under attack, you are pretty limited in your options. You can't retreat the vehicle, you can self-destruct it though. You can basically turn it into a booby trap, and any infantry or vehicles that get close, you can sort of just detonate it and kill it, and then it starts a countdown timer for the next one to roll in, and then you can rebuild that same building in another location and retry it there. So it's a bit more long-winded than it's a gamble. You can play it safe and keep them all relatively close together, or you can sort of spread them out and have a larger area of the field, or you can sort of keep an eye on things and grab points that will secure like a certain territory sector of the map. But you do have to be aware of anywhere it can be attacked from, because obviously if a mortar team finds this, or any vehicle with range capability detects it, they're pretty much going to put the crap out of it in a few seconds. So you always have to be thoughtful about where you're going to put them, and basically aim to defend it as best you can. This map is basically in the wrap-up stages. You can see in the mini-map there, the US forces don't really have a lot of territory. I was surprised at actually how limp they were. They weren't all that aggressive. Normally when I play 4-on-3 with 3 expert AIs on the enemy team, expert AIs on my team, generally it's quite a nasty fight, and they'll bring in lots of vehicles and infantry, and you'll get quite a fight going on sometimes around the mid stage, especially on a 1,000-point resource battle. But yeah, for some reason this one the AI just really didn't seem to do very well. I think what may have happened is that all 3 AI may have picked Airborne Doctrine rather than having any of the others pick one of the other 2 doctrines. So yeah, so they didn't really. The AI isn't very good at using all the doctrines. Obviously, like, it doesn't know the best place to drop paratroopers. It doesn't know the best place to drop AT guns and such. So this goes with the German AI as well. It's a bit spotty. I don't think you'll ever, or I think you'll very rarely see the OberKommandoWest doctrine AI using things like Man Panthers, or even calling in Tigers. they'll use the stock units that come with it without the doctrines, but yeah, as far as the doctrines go, I think it's very rare you see them really utilising the abilities properly. But yeah, obviously if you're a competitive player, the AI is more of a training tool or a practice thing, whereas for players like myself, Comp Stomp is kind of fun, and you do want the AI to be a bit more aggressive, or at least a bit more reactive to what you bring. I mean, to be honest, there should probably just be a little code thing in there that if you pick 3 AI and there's only 3 doctrines, it'll just run the 3 doctrines, one of each, and that way it gives it the most balanced loadout. But yeah, it seems to sometimes be a bit random, and depending on what it decides to pick, you'll either have a tough fight or you'll have a really easy fight, and this one turned out to be an easy fight. Not saying I would have won in a one-on-one fight, the expert AI are way better at multitasking than I'll ever be, but you know, there you go. In my Comp Stomp world, this was an easy match. I don't even think I get up to having the best unit call-ins. I just end up staying with these 4 units and a couple of support vehicles, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just artillery piece, other bits and pieces. I know it's probably not the best video for seeing all of the cool units. I do apologise for that. But you know, the AI just really didn't give me the kind of showing I was hoping, and they didn't really drag the map out much longer. Oof, it's like I turned to red mist. Very rarely it'll hit, but when it does, it's not pretty. You can see the US there have captured a Rakettenwerfer, trying to use it against the tanks down by that house. Firing away. So they've got 250 points, so a couple of minutes left basically. It just wins out on points that way. You can see they've got a lot of units running around, it's just that they're not really doing much. I think I spend a while here trying to find the best point to drop rockets. And every time I go to drop the rockets, I think the AI cheats a little and it moves units away from the incoming fire. So I end up constantly trying to get him to stop and then launch the rockets. So now I was lucky that I managed to get one, but you know, all the other rockets basically just blow the shit out of some French road, which isn't really what I wanted to do. And they actually pushed. They made a push on one side, and you can see the base building there that was firing away with the cannon, which is pretty cool. I was surprised the first time I came across it. I was like, what the fuck is this thing? Blowing the crap out of me, man. You know, because it's the last thing you expect is a base building to actually be firing back here. I know the original Wehrmacht thing come here as one of the doctrines gave an upgrade where they'd have MG42s on top of the buildings. But this is somewhat different because you've got a base building that's got essentially an AA/AT gun firing away. I do think there's a couple of little problems in regards to anti-air, because the paratroopers from the US forces will drop in quite regularly. The AI has a habit of dropping them on your base, which would make sense, except the paratroopers have no explosive weaponry. A human player will obviously go brilliant, and they'll set satchel charges and blow the shit out of your base. Sadly, the AI doesn't use satchel charges. It doesn't matter what difficulty level they're on. They'll just land and then start firing on buildings with M1 carbines, and they'll do that for eternity. You don't ever have to bring an infantry unit back because they will just stand there and fire and fire and fire and fire and never get anywhere at all. But certain buildings are supposed to have an anti-air capability, and they don't. One of the half-tracks that I remembered is actually a anti-air half-track. It sets itself up with a quick-firing 20mm cannon, and you can see the planes moving over the map when you play it, and it never aims up, fires at them. Not once. I think the defensive structure you can build with the Luftwaffe ground doctrine will allow you to do that, but that's it. I definitely think that needs patching. Relic need to get onto that. I'm sure other people mentioned it, but I've never seen them do this. I've never seen planes being shot down by the buildings or the defensive structure or anything like that. I've never seen this happen. Now once again I'm trying to find a good spot to drop rockets. The infantry moving every single time I try to set up. So in the end I just think, you know, fuck it. They're all going to be retreating to the base, so let's just drop rockets on the base. Because why not? I'm just waiting for the timer to count down now. It's nearly finished. So it's just a case of getting over there, dropping some rockets. I mean, the AI, they just didn't really put in the effort. I'm disappointed in the AI running its basic compute. Not very smart, letting me win. Ah, there's the SturmTiger. I can actually show you this. Bad boy in action. I do hope that my memory isn't perfect here, but I do hope this thing actually does get in and launches a shell, because it's quite the impressive explosion. And boom! Oh, and you get that shell shock effect and all the sound around it. It's pretty cool. But then you have to pull it back. That unit can't consecutively fire. You have to pull back and then you have to click the little button where fire used to be, and that's now reload. And you'll see the crew get out. And if you angle the camera right, you can actually see them moving the shell with a little crane built onto the top of the tank. You zoom in a bit there, and yeah, the animations are stunning. I was so impressed first time I saw that. Just like that little level of detail. And you don't want to get that unit attacked when they're reloading, because if infantry attack them or another vehicle attacks them, the crew can actually be outright killed, and then you can steal the vehicle. So it's you've got to be careful where you retreat to, because like any infantry that pop out, just wipe them out, and then they've got a SturmTiger or a SturmTiger and just blow the crap out of you. And obviously you see the size of it, it's got a shitload of armour. So it's not easy to kill. I mean, the AI is rolling one around there. I've just got this Panzer II here. So you can see, it's a little quick firing cannon. I really like the light tanks of the Second World War. I thought I guess it was their underdog kind of nature, the small weapons and stuff, but I think some of them look kind of cool as well. It's like I like the Stuart, I like the Panzer II. I like the BT series of tanks from the Soviets. I like the Crusader tanks, North Africa. But no, he's dead. Little Panzer II. But yeah, this round is about to wrap up. Again, thank you for watching. I hope what you've seen here will help you make a decision on a potential purchase of Western Front Armies. So thanks again, and bye.